Hello, I'm Laura Purcell and I'm going to read to you from my new book, The Silent Companions, a Gothic Ghost Story. Nobody came to close the door or remove the food. Despairing, Elsie placed her untouched dinner tray on the floor and dropped back against the pillows. When she awoke, the room was as black as a weeping veil. The fire had expired, leaving the air chill. The taint of that damned soup still hung in the air, making her stomach writhe. How could the maid just leave it there to fester and grow foul? She would have to speak to the housekeeper in the morning. It was then that she heard it, a low rasp, like a saw against wood. She went rigid. Had she really heard that? The senses could play tricks in the dark. But then it came again. Hiss. She did not want to deal with another problem tonight. Surely if she kept wrapped up with her eyes shut, it would go away. Hiss. A rhythmic, abrasive sound. What was it? She pulled the cover up over her ear until it muffled the noise. At last it stopped. Her head drooped with the weight of exhaustion. It was probably some foolish nonsense. Animals in the wood. She would not recognise their sounds. She had always slept in a town. It was silent now, and she could go back to sleep. Hiss. She started up, every inch of her electrified. Teeth against wood, scraping. Blindly, she groped under the pillow for her matchbox. It was not there. Of course it was not there. She hadn't unpacked yet. Her hand felt empty, vulnerable without the box. She had to be careful. She mustn't spiral into panic. Half falling from the bed, she fumbled in the dark for a gas lever, a tinderbox, anything. Her fingers only met hard pools of wax where the candle had melted. Hiss. The darkness was absolute. Her eyes refused to adjust. It wasn't like London. There were no street lamps outside. She was forced to inch along, feeling her way forwards. The leg of the dressing table, a round springy shape, the hoop of her crinoline. She manoeuvred around it, ears tensed for the sound. Very stillness felt heavy, charged, as if it were waiting. She placed her hand down and felt it sink into something. She recoiled and cried out. There was a crash and liquid seeped through her nightgown. The odours of chicken and beef announced she had crawled straight into her dinner tray. Hiss. Elsie flung herself away from the tray. Black, nothing but black before her eyes. How could she get out of this room? Finally, she made out a shade of grey. She crawled towards it and felt a solid surface. The door. Struggling to her feet, she groped for the handle and pulled the door open. It was brighter in the corridor. She took a few steps out, her feet sinking in the dusty carpet. Little clouds floated up as she moved. There was nothing to suggest what had made the noise. Everything was still. Moonlight fell through the lantern tower in silver bars, and the marble busts glowed. Hiss. Elsie headed in the direction of the sound. She had to stop it. She would never sleep with that racket. Hiss, hiss. It came faster, frantic. Her feet matched its pace as they turned past the gallery towards the stairs. She was certain it was coming from above. The steps led to a narrow landing with whitewashed walls. The top floor of the house, traditionally the domain of servants. She followed the sound down a corridor, past the lantern tower, until the beacon of moonlight faded to a muted glow. Soft flooring gave way to cold tiles underfoot. She shivered, wishing she had brought a wrap or a blanket with her. She felt small, exposed in cotton and lace. She stopped to rest and get her bearings. Up ahead, a faint yellow circle stained the wall. Hiss. The noise was close. She put one foot forward and felt something brush her leg. She reeled, nearly losing her balance. Tiny clicks sounded on the tiles. She did not dare to look down and see what made them. The rasping, soaring noise was everywhere around her, like the voice of God. And just below it, a steady beat. Footsteps. A yellow orb floated in the darkness, drifting towards her. Elsie braced herself, hardly knowing what she expected. The orb was coming closer. The figure of a woman loomed up behind it, her shadows stretched along the tiles at her heels. She saw Elsie, gasped, and they were plunged into darkness once more.